Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy weekend, especially Father's Day weekend, to come support me, of course. Thank you, like seriously. And this is something that's been a brainchild since last November. And I've had a whole 6 months to freak out about it and write the music and everything. So the fact that it's finally here is sort of surreal. But it's just so nice to see so many familiar faces, old students of mine, current students of mine, friends and family friends, people I've worked with, people I studied with, high school, university. Everyone's here, and I really appreciate that. But anyway, thank you again. And this whole recital is based around a few different styles. I kind of wanted to experiment a little bit and try to write some music in various styles that have influenced me throughout my life. So you'll hear some Asian styles, you'll hear some classical styles, some poppier sort of styles, some like a little bit of everything. And so there'll be 10 pieces in total, and they are all written for piano and a solo instrument. So the first one will be a cello piece with piano, and then followed by piano and oboe, and so on and so forth. Hopefully you all have a program as well. And inside, if you haven't looked yet, there's also a little slip of paper where you can write down your favorite piece of music of the evening afterwards. And there's a little box, I think, outside where you can drop it in, and I'd love to share that score with you if you are interested in that. And yeah, let's just kick it off with the very first piece. So the very first one is called Consolation, and the cello has been one of my favorite instruments ever. Since listening to the orchestra, it just has a really warm, mellow sound, but it can also sing into the really high registers as well. And this piece in particular was inspired by a piece called The Swan. It's in the same key, it's a very slow sort of ballad, but hopefully it can give you that sort of consolation feeling, and I hope you enjoy it. So to help me premiere this piece, I'd like to welcome my friend Mario to the stage. Please give him a warm welcome. the next piece, I kind of wanted to switch it up just a little bit. And I've always been a fan of the waltz. Waltz is basically when you hear 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And one of my favorite waltzes of all time comes from a video game actually called Super Mario Galaxy. It's called Rosalina's Observatory. It goes. Anyway, the piece itself is played by an oboe, which is actually my favorite woodwind instrument as well, or at least one of them. And it also came from a piece of music from that same game. There was a little oboe solo in that piece. So for me, all the stars kind of aligned on this one. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. There's a bit of a modulation in there as well, where we do a key change at the very end. All of it is sort of trying to capture that innocent, lively feeling of being a child and sort of having that wonderment. So to help me premiere this piece, I would like to welcome my friend Chieh-Ying to the stage. Please welcome her to the stage. Thank you. Amazing. Thank you. So yes, that was a slight change of pace, and to bring it back to the other direction again, that's one thing I was trying to do, by the way, is not just have all fast pieces, all slow pieces in a row. I kind of wanted to switch it up a little bit here and there. So this third piece uses another woodwind instrument that I'm a big fan of as well, and that is the bassoon. And the bassoon is actually quite a large instrument. It can play really, really low notes. As a general rule of thumb, the longer the instrument, the lower it can play. And yes, the higher register especially, for me, I'm the biggest fan of because it has a beautiful breathy sort of sound that you can't really get from similar instruments. So you'll hear in this piece called Daybreak, in the chorus section, when it goes up into the higher registers, I really wanted to express that emotional quality of it a little bit more. And just as a tiny bit of trivia, this piece is in the key of D flat. And it's one of my favorite keys because it's a very warm sound to me. It has 5 flats in the key signature, so it's much better than just a straight up white note, white scale, I should say, where there's no sharps and flats at all. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this one and the warm sound of the bassoon. And to help me play this piece is Gabrielle. So please welcome her to the stage. Thank you. Okay. So yes, as you can see, like the bassoon has a really beautiful sound, and unfortunately, the upper register is not its strongest. But I think Gabrielle could have fooled all of us in thinking, not knowing that. But I think this next piece will switch it up a little bit again, and we're going more into the up-tempo side as well. So this piece, I've always loved the violin, and the piece is directly inspired by a very famous piece called Salut d'Amour. Kind of goes da 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 dun, dun, dun. I think most people know that piece. So it's in the same key. The accompaniment has a very similar pattern, and the melody was directly kind of inspired by that piece. And so I hope you enjoy it. This is one of my favorites, and to help me perform this piece, Aysel is going to play it as well. So thank you so much, and let's give Aysel a big welcome. Thank you. All right. So I wanted to try something a little bit different and venture into slightly strange territory. So far, everything has been sort of common time, like 4/4 time or 3/4 time with a waltz. But this is actually the first piece and the only piece in the program that actually uses a hybrid meter or compound meter where there's multiple time signatures happening. So it feels a little bit unsteady and almost like there's an unpredictability to it. Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to try here was using a mode, which basically just means you take the major scale and you alter one of those notes, either flat or sharp, to make it sound a little bit different. So you get a major scale, but with a slightly different color change. And the way this piece kind of panned out, it kind of reminded me of a horse's gallop, hence the name. And so the English horn will be the one performing this piece. And it's a similar instrument to the oboe, but slightly lower with a little bit more husk and fullness to the sound. And so I really wanted to bring out the qualities of that instrument in this piece and sort of make it a little bit more energetic. So please welcome back to the stage Chieh-Ying, and she's the one who played the oboe as well. So let's welcome her to the stage. Thank you. So I've been looking forward to this moment very much so because this piece, this next one, is written for one of the most underappreciated instruments in the orchestra, and all my music friends will know this. The viola is a beautiful instrument that bridges usually the violins and the cellos in the orchestra, but it's really sad because the violins and the cellos usually get all the leading roles. For good reason, you know, they're beautiful instruments themselves, but violas are underappreciated, I think. And so this title, or this piece, is based around the concept of how does a violist actually feel when they're compared to these other instruments, and hence the title. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. I selfishly wrote a little piano solo in the middle there as well, inspired by Rhapsody in Blue by Gershwin. But I think this piece is mainly inspired by the anger of Beethoven. I hope you can hear that at the beginning and the end. And it's sort of a journey that I really enjoyed writing. So to help me with this piece, please welcome Gia Choi to the stage. Thank goodness this room is so warm or my hands would be falling off right now, but it's a good warm-up for sure. Thank you for your kind applause and reception so far. So just to turn the tables a little bit, I wanted to go back to the lighter side of things and explore, again, sort of that childish innocence of that we all experienced at some point in our lives in our early years. And the clarinet is a beautiful instrument that can be equally versatile for like melodic roles as well as in background elements as well. And so I kind of wanted to explore the agility of it a little bit in this piece. I call it Fun in the Sun. It kind of gives you that feeling of a summer vacation. You kind of want to explore everything, but there's just not enough time to do it. So hopefully that comes through with this piece. And with for this piece, I'm gonna have my friend Yasmeen play with me. We've had some history together in terms of U of T. We studied in a couple of the same classes, and she's become a really, really good friend of mine. And we actually played in, again, a few classes together, playing all these classical repertoire, but wanted to turn the tables and write something for her this time. So please welcome Yasmeen to the stage. Okay. Yes, so we are nearing we're already in the second half, but we are near the end of the instrumental pieces here. And next, I wanted to bring in a brass instrument. You probably wonder at this point, why are there so many woodwinds and strings, but there's no brass? And the reason is because, personally, the French horn has always been my favorite brass instrument, but I've always felt like the other ones, like the trumpet, the trombone, the tuba, and especially in sort of a smaller space like this, they might be just a little bit too penetrating. And the French horn has a very warm tone that can really just resonate in the entire room depending on the material that's being written for it. So in this case, I wanted to write for one of my favorite keys as well, which is F major. I already mentioned how C major is sort of like the blank slate, but F major adds a tinge of color because it has one flat, one black note in the scale, and that adds a touch of darkness to it and warmth to it. And so I kind of wanted to accentuate that with this instrument, the French horn. And to help me play this piece is Daniel Ho, so please give him a warm welcome to the stage as well. Thanks. Thank you very much. So we've had a bunch of slow pieces, we've had some quicker pieces, some dancing things, and I wanted to end off this instrumental portion with something almost ecstatic in a way, to almost wrap this whole thing up in a powerful but flighty way, hence the name of this piece. The flute was actually one of the band instruments I did play in school. I see Sophia nodding behind me, but in front of me, sorry. But yeah, the flute and the piccolo specifically are such beautiful instruments that play up into the higher registers. And I kind of wanted to explore that. So similar to the clarinet, the flute is a very agile instrument, and usually in a lot of orchestral scores, they play a lot of runs and textures and stuff to really complement the rest of the orchestra. But it's not really featured as much, in my opinion, in a lot of solo music, which I kind of wanted to explore here. So yes, Sophia is a wonderful flute player. We actually had the same flute teacher for a while, but she's miles and miles better than me. But it's just really fun to write for something that I have a little bit of experience with, and I hope I didn't make it too hard for her. So please welcome Sophia to the stage. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for checking out or for listening to these pieces. It's more, yeah, like this is definitely a passion project more than anything. It's very impractical usually for you to write a set of pieces for all these different instruments. Therefore, one specialist can't play all of it. They can only just play one piece from the set. But yeah, I like all these different instruments. I grew up listening to orchestral music all the time, and some of my favorite scores just really impacted me in deep ways, and hopefully it came through a little bit tonight. But I wanted to end things off here with one of my new original songs that I've written, and it's going to be in my album coming out in August, but I kind of wanted to premiere it here tonight. And it's going to have a more full arrangement because with computers you can add as many instruments as you want. But for a live context, obviously I don't have a full orchestra, but I wanted to make use of every player's talents and their abilities and their instruments. And so I'm really honored to be able to play with all of them for this last piece. They're all going to organize themselves on the stage and on the floor. And I'm going to sing a little bit as well. So hopefully it comes out how I'm imagining it. And I hope you enjoy it. So this one is called Music is a Universal Language. I mean, it's sort of self-explanatory for me. Like it's one of the things that you have to just feel. For music, it just kind of comes out if you're a composer or a songwriter. It's just something you have to do. And so for this piece, I kind of wanted to express that message at how music can be very touching for people and how it can impact people all over the world. And I hope that message is clear through this tune. So yeah, please bear with us as we take a second to set up, but hopefully you enjoy it as we perform it. So thank you. Sorry, while we're setting up, I have to add, I've completely forgotten, I don't know why. Please give a warm round of applause to my friend Yue Yao. He's been patroning tonight. He's amazing. Yeah, so you and I go way, way back. We actually used to compete against each other as kids, and I think he beat me more times than I beat him, but I don't hold it against him. So nowadays, we play tennis against each other on quite a regular basis. When the summer comes out, he brings his racket. He usually hits way more winners than I do, but hey, like it's as long as you're spending time together and enjoying the sport, that's all that matters. But anyway, Yue is a fantastic musician himself as well, and he's been playing many years, and so it's my pleasure to have him accompany this piece on the piano while everyone is playing their instruments. So just thought I'd say that as well.
We may not have the words to share what's on our mind. No matter how we try, some thoughts get left behind. We may not have the words to communicate abroad. Although we're face to face, we're a million miles apart. We've been blessed to express our beauty from within. This is how life's tales begin. Music is a universal language. We can share our timeless stories. We'll inspire the world and all its generations. Music, it can fill us with its power. It can heal the broken-hearted. It can save a life. Sometimes we're not prepared to hear what people say. The world can weigh us down, darken a new day. We may not understand what we're going through. We might feel lost and helpless, not knowing what to do. But we've been blessed to express emotions deep inside. This is how we come alive. Music is a universal language. We can share timeless stories. We'll inspire the world and all its generations. Music, it can fill us with its power. It can heal the broken-hearted. It can save a life. We can open up our voices without fear and reach out to those in need. We can influence the ones who need to hear and pin their eyes so they can see. Music is a universal language. We can share our timeless stories. We'll inspire the world and all its generations. Music, it can fill us with its power. We can heal the broken-hearted. It can save a life. Thank you. Yes, please help me congratulate all the beautiful musicians. They've worked so hard on these pieces, and it's so rewarding to hear it all come to life. And I know the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. And thank you, Yue, as well, for everything. Before we jump into a quick Q&A, I wanted to thank quite a few people. Number one is my mother, and she's actually leaving the room right now. But she's been basically doing all the behind-the-scenes work that I can imagine. Down to all the final details, the programming, the ensuring the logistics are running smoothly and everything like that. So big thank you. I have to thank Miss Lynn, Grace Lynn. Oh, she's sitting right there. Yes. Yes. Miss Lynn was one of my first piano teachers, and she really inspired me with a love of music, and she also let me play video games in her basement, which I really appreciate. Yeah, so the whole entire reason this exists is due in large part to her as well. And then big thanks, of course, to Steinway Piano Gallery for allowing me the use of this beautiful venue, and I hope it wasn't too cramped and too squeezed, but I do like the intimate sort of feel that this room offers, and I hope the acoustics were okay. So big thanks to Steinway. Big thank you to Aaron Chow, for doing all the mic setup and everything related to sound. A big thank you to Norman Huang, who is the videographer tonight. I'm not sure if he's in the, oh, he's right there back, of course. Thank you, Norman. Thank you to my dad and my brother, Gabriel, for their enduring support and encouragement as well. I really appreciate their help, and Gabriel's currently monitoring the live stream, and without that, I'm sure it would be in chaos right now, so I appreciate that, Gabriel. And of course, the lovely musicians who made my music come to life tonight. Thank you, each and every one of you. I really appreciate it. And of course, you as well. Thank you. Also, a big thank you to my Uncle David for taking pictures tonight. He was moving all around. I didn't notice him once, so he's very good at being slinky, so yeah. And and also a big thank you to Isaac and Jocelyn, who are doing things on their programs right now. Yes. Hopefully you saw their cute faces as they were walking in tonight, and they gave you a program. And oh yes, and also hopefully you've written down, like marked down your favorite piece of the night, so afterwards you can dump it in the box. And your email address should be on there as well, so I can share that score with you if you like. And lastly, but definitely not least, to every single person who came out to support tonight. I know every single one of you very, very well, so thank you very much, and it means a lot that you came tonight. Thank you.
At this moment, maybe I should pay tribute to all the fathers in this room, okay? So, yeah, happy Father's Day. Okay? And of course, behind every father, every dad, there's a mom. So also, happy. It's not just one day. It's not just Mother's Day, but mother forever. So now, actually, it's like a triangle bond, okay? The students, like Christopher, the mom and the dad, and myself, okay? And through time and consistent working, we become love and success. So anyway, here I congratulate Christopher for your passion, your brilliant playing, and your our friendship. And deep in my heart, with great admiration and respect. Okay, congratulations.
I wasn't expecting to get emotional so quickly, but thank you, Ms. Lin.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next in my face, I have to change my glasses. Can't read. Okay. Okay. This is for Christopher. How do you create longer music? Do you use slower tempos or add more bridges or verses for length? Or do you not worry about length and do what feels right?
Yeah, structure is one of the things that I think a lot of composers struggle with, because a lot of times you might have just a main idea, and then after that 4-bar, 8-bar idea is done, you have no idea how to proceed from that. So I think tempo does play a big part in the length, but sometimes if the piece is feeling too short, maybe it is calling for a new section. So there were multiple instances in this recital tonight where there were a few pieces in song form, like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. There were a couple doing like A, B, C, A, C, D sort of things, but it really just comes down to what feels right for the piece. So I think there's no right answer there. Like you either stretch it out with more sections, or you slow it down a little bit, maybe use some variations. There's always ways to elaborate your main idea and turn it into a slightly longer piece. Yeah.
I think I can add something. Yeah. Basically, Christopher has studied a lot of harmonies, counterpoint, and etc. analysis. Yes. So I can hear many of your pieces are in ABA form, yes, right? Yes. Or repeated binary. So you go like fast, a little bit slow, fast, or slow, fast, and slow. Yes. So I think that will answer it, right? Okay. Yes. And of course, your song was beautiful, which is in stanzas, right?
Yes.
Music,
yes. The standard pop song.
That's right.
Yeah.
All okay. Yeah. How do you combat? Oh no. What do you do to inspire you to finish a song, if or when you feel uninspired to finish it?
Writer's block happens to every songwriter and composer, I think, at some point. I've probably done a couple of videos on this too, because I know from experience how it feels, but I usually find that just taking a break, even just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, going outside, can really just help refresh your brain. But for me, what's most effective is to listen to the music that I want to write
and find pieces in a similar style that I'm trying to emulate, because that will give me fresh ideas, not just musically for the melody and harmony, but also for the orchestration, the arrangement, the way it flows and everything. So if your brain is kind of feeling empty and stuck, I usually just listen to other music that I'm a big fan of, and I want to emulate those certain styles.
Yeah. You are very disciplined. Only 15 minutes break. Right? Beethoven took long walks in the woods, okay?
I think the word you're looking for is lazy. But.
Do you enjoy listening to your own music despite going through the entire songwriting process? Or is it like listening to a recording of your own voice? Oh, this is strange.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I think I'll be the first to admit that I probably listen to my own music way more than anyone else does, just because I write the sort of music that I want to hear from other people, or the music that I personally I think I would enjoy. So once that comes to life, whether that's through virtual instruments or through real instruments, it's sort of really rewarding to see all the elements come together. And because I know all the work that went into it, it just makes listening to it over and over again that much more rewarding. And yes, it might appear vain, it might appear, self-centered or whatever, but I can't lie. Like I listen to a lot of my own music, also because I know I can learn from it as well. So I know my pieces 5 years ago are a lot worse than the ones I'm writing now, and 5 years from now I'll think the same thing. So I just have to continue learning and always listen to new stuff to keep inspired. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. How do you combat the idea of needing to put more into your music without overcomplicating it? Your music is always beautiful. That's a compliment.
Oh, yes.
Very
Thank you. I guess more, maybe they're talking in terms of orchestration or arrangement. And in that case, if you're talking about the amount of instruments you put in, at a certain point, you start to lose focus of the core ideas that are happening in the piece. So if there's like a song, for example, and the vocal is the main element, then you want that to be the main thing. But if you add too many instruments in the background and they overpower the vocal, then you know you're headed in the wrong direction, right? And your ears start to get fatigued and things start kind of feeling overwhelming and you're back to square one. So I think it's all a balance. There is no one-size-fit-all answer. You just kind of have to ask yourself, is the main idea being portrayed in a way that I'm happy with and it maintains the listener's attention? And if the answer is yes, then everything else you've added should be complementing it instead of fighting each other, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But your accompaniment were very brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Well,
and very, very well written.
Thank
Okay,
you.
It's really more expressive. I'm trying to listen to you more.
Right. And I think this sort of ensemble thing makes it easier because I just have to worry about two instruments, right? So the piano has to play a larger role in taking care of the chords, all the bass lines, and additional counter melodies that might be happening,
Yes.
aside from the main element or the main soloist being playing at the same time as well. So there's those considerations, and as well in a live room like this, the balance of course is a big thing. And I don't know how well it came across, but I hope you were able to hear the soloists relatively well, and the piano should have been supportive for most of it, at least.
What are your favorite techniques for each instrument family? What are favorite techniques? Favorite techniques for each instrument family?
Yeah, so I think the question's asking more about like the standard orchestration stuff. That's more like, what do you do for strings, woodwinds, and brass? For me, legato strings are sort of my favorite. They create a really lush sort of sustained sound. Brass, I really love to do like marcato, like really staccato short notes because they can be really declamatory. Today I didn't do that with a French horn, but I wanted to expose the more lyrical nature of it. And then woodwinds, I love doing agile, fast stuff like you saw with the clarinet and the flute. So really want to put forth that aspect of those instruments there. So just a short answer to answer that question.
Yeah, I believe. Or maybe your rhythmical variations and changes.
Sure.
For example, the polyrhythmic on your oboe. That was very interesting. It will enhance.
Right.
Simon Matheson, do you like to give yourself challenges for each new song you write? Or, if so, what kind of challenges do you give yourself?
That's a good question. I think as a composer, I feel like if I write the same piece or if I write in the same style more than like 2 times in a row, I start to get bored, or like I start to feel like I'm not really growing or experimenting. So after I've written a piece or two in a certain style, I'll try to veer from it and write in a different style that I might have been influenced by, or maybe one that I just have no idea about. So yeah, I think it's important to keep on learning and listening to new music. That's why it's important to keep on refreshing your ears and with new information and try to apply that to your own music to grow as a composer.
And not bury your own
Yeah.
talent. And not bury your own ideas.
Oh, yeah. That's
Okay.
right.
This is have you, will you publish some of these pieces? I can imagine students might love playing some of these arrangements.
Yeah, that's definitely the plan, actually. After this week, maybe next week, when all the scores have been sent out, I am planning to put them on my website, maybe sell them as the complete set. And then if anyone wants the individual scores, those will also be available for sale too. Yeah.
Have you approached like Alfred and others?
I haven't. I think most people say that self-publishing is probably the best way to go because you retain most of the revenue and you retain the control as well over your music. But then again, the big publishers do give you a lot of exposure, which is nice. But then you might end up giving out like 40, 60% of your earnings there too. So that's always a trade-off, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Until you are very famous.
Well, that will not happen.
Okay, this is from Maxim. Do you plan to also play live in Europe? I and many others would love to see you perform here.
Oh man, that's very touching. Yeah, I guess if I travel to Europe, if that opportunity ever comes up, I wouldn't ever say no. I think I haven't really performed outside of Canada and the U.S. I think for the festivals that we've done, that you've given me the opportunity to do. I don't think I've ever done any solo performances, recitals in other countries. Yeah, okay. So Mom's confirming that, right? So, yes, if I had the opportunity to perform some original music, I would. Yeah, totally.
Definitely. Okay. Do you have a favorite piece of music you've written? Which is your favorite piece?
Right. I think I find that like the more recent stuff that I write, I tend to be most fond of, and then the stuff that's older, I tend to brush under the table. So I think talking specifically about tonight, two of my favorites are probably the viola piece because I got to play really loud on the piano, and the French horn piece because I really like the sound of that instrument, and I hope that it rang through the hall in a nice way. And it's just it's fun to play, actually, the way I kind of wrote it. It fits comfortably in the hand. So I find that the pieces that are more comfortable to play, I tend to like more. The ones that feel really awkward, even if they sound nice, I tend to don't play it. Yeah.
No, I believe many people in your audience agree with you.
Okay.
You know.
That's good to know.
How did you get started as an adult in music industry? Did you already know some people from earlier in life, or did you start completely fresh in a new city?
Well, I never moved cities. I was born and raised here in Toronto, so that's never happened. But I think it was just because I grew up in classical music, learning from you and other teachers as well. But it was only in high school and university where I started exploring actually composing music and writing for ensembles and instruments. And then starting the YouTube channel has given me opportunities to compose or to write with and orchestrate for big artists over the world. So I think the location itself nowadays actually matters much less than it did maybe 2 decades ago, because you can always connect with people online and find opportunities to collaborate and network, and eventually those can turn into paid gigs that you make lifelong friendships with those people and all that stuff. So every single opportunity I've ever gotten was because of my YouTube channel. And if I looked back and was to do it again, I would recommend to everybody to have some sort of online presence if music or a creative job is sort of in your future. So,
Yes. Okay, last question.
Okay.
Are you working on a doctorate? I have been lucky to sample just a bit of your teaching style.
Yes.
I cannot imagine the days and hours behind what you're hearing.
I don't think I'd be smart enough to go do a doctorate. I think the bachelor's was a great experience for me to do piano in a more concentrated fashion and just have the regulated system that I had to follow on a regular basis to try to improve as a pianist. And So the short answer, probably not right now. I think I do like the freedom of being able to work on my own and write as I like, because I am supported by the online business that I run with my courses and stuff. So it's nice to go into further education, I think, if you know that's something you really want to pursue, but otherwise, I think you can learn a lot by yourself, and all the resources, like everything you want to learn is online nowadays anyway, so you don't even need to go to school for it. But that's just my opinion. So.
No, I agree with you, because you are really diversifying out.
Right.
You're not like streaming into anything. So
right.
ask Aaron. Okay. So okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's it, guys.
I
Thank
hope
you.
you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? And then his
Thank you.
great speaker, good singer, fantastic pianist, right?
Because without Miss Lin, like this whole thing wouldn't be possible. So she's being very kind and very modest. But big thank you to Miss Lin.
Thank you.